My name's Lucinda Freeman. I work in the equestrian industry. I live in a beautiful part of the world and I'm really passionate about what I do. I love salsa dancing and I ride myself. I have a horse. I have a little dog who I take for walks every day along the canal. It's a lovely life. I first realised that something was wrong not very long after I had my cancer treatment finished, probably about 6 months after that. And I just noticed that wearing short-sleeved garments, the sleeve on this side was getting tighter. And I remembered that when I was first diagnosed with cancer, that they had said that lymphedema was a possibility. So I went back to the hospital to be measured, because they measure your arms and everything for the operation. And sure enough, the dimensions had changed, so they sent me to see a specialist. And that was when not only my lymphedema was diagnosed, but also the underlying lipedema. And I think that for lots of women with lymphedema, myself included, having somebody to talk about the way that it makes you feel is really important. The most difficult thing I think about being diagnosed with lymphedema was the panic of thinking that I might not be able to ride again. And actually, Dawn was very supportive about that, but we did have to sort of go through a period of seeing how it worked, and in the early stages my arm did react quite a lot, but over time that settled down, and actually I don't ride as much as I used to, so it hasn't become a problem, so it hasn't stopped me doing that, and that is terribly important to me. I'm very good about looking after myself. And because I'm mainly office-based, because I run equestrian events, so I haven't really had to change my lifestyle too much to accommodate that. It's just things like when the weather is lovely and you're wrapped from ankle to waist and wrist to the top of your arm in elasticated garments, it's not terribly comfortable. I don't have to wear my compression if I go on holiday. So at least not during the daytime, I can swap over. So if I'm on holiday somewhere that's nice and hot and sunny, I try and make sure that I stay somewhere that has an air-conditioned room, and then I can wear my sleeves at night time instead of in the daytime. And I can get away with that because I'm actually very, very good at wearing my garments the rest of the time. Before that diagnosis, I had known that there was something that was not quite right when I was growing up, because it all changed when I was going through puberty, but nothing was known about lipedema at that time, so it had never really been diagnosed, and a lot of my teenage years I just thought I was fat. I had fat legs and fat arms. For the lipedema in my legs, I wear compression tights. All day, every day, no matter what the weather is, which is really difficult for all sorts of reasons. They're not very easy to put on, and your clothes don't sit properly over them, so I'm continually pulling my trousers down because they ride up a bit and then you have to keep pulling them down. My legs get very tired towards the end of the day. They feel very heavy and achy. And most of all, they're misshapen. I don't have an ankle of much description of an ankle, and it's mostly the way that it makes you feel emotionally. Things like buying boots or trousers. is always a struggle, because I have quite a small waist, but I have very heavy legs, and people don't make clothes for people who are that shape. It's a very common problem. Most of women who have lipedema have it in their legs. There's a lack of understanding about lipedema particularly, and there's not much that's available in the way of treatment, and particularly there is no funding. I think that sharing knowledge about lymphedema and solutions to things would be very valuable to the community at large. For me, I think the important thing to remember is that I'm much more conscious of it than anybody else is. And I always feel very self-conscious if, for example, I'm going out for dinner and I'm not wearing my sleeves. I always think everybody's looking at me and thinking, why has that woman got such fat arms? But of course they're not. People are not like that. People are much more generous of spirit than you imagine they are. Listen to the advice that you're given. Stay on your diet, be as active as you can, and embrace the opportunities that you have in life. Don't allow your lymphedema to stop you doing what you most want to do.